Welcome, friends, to the Play Guitar Podcast. Here I am. I'm Lee. I'm here to help you become the guitar player that you always wanted to be. Why play the blues? You always hear people say, well, if you want to understand, I say it all the time too, if you want to understand rock music, or if you want to understand jazz, you should learn the blues first. And you think, okay, somebody must know more than me. Okay, sure, I'll do that. But today I want to tell you why. Why learning the blues changes everything for your guitar playing. You heard it before. If you can play the blues, you can play anything. But why is that true? Today I'm going to break down why learning the blues is the key to total guitar freedom, how it unlocks improv, phrasing, and musical expression in ways that no other style can. I guess I'm partial there. If you've ever felt stuck in patterns, stuck in scales, this episode's going to change how you see your guitar playing. Let's talk about the first segment, blues as the foundation of great guitar playing. So blues connects nearly every modern genre. Think about it. So we have rock. There's elements of blues all over rock, jazz, in fact, they have jazz blues. There's elements of blues all over the jazz. Country music, you hear blues in it, in every lead, and it's a country style blues. It takes different elements from the blues that rock guitar would do. But what is it about blues that's so important? Well, it's stripped down, and it values phrasing. It values feel instead of technique. The best blues players develop an ear for telling a story. Like last week, we talked about telling a story with your guitar playing, right? You start to listen to different things than just technique and how fast you can play. If you notice, sometimes, I know I've learned a couple shred songs or songs that have lots of arpeggios, and it's a percentage of people who appreciate that. I found when I play a blues song that really hits, a larger percentage of people appreciate that it speaks to them. And I've said this before, but if you play happy major songs like Roll Out the Barrels or something like that, super happy songs, right? It's like 10x. We're never that happy. I don't know, maybe you are. I've never made it to Roll Out the Barrels happy. And minor songs in minor keys are extremely sad. We can't get any sadder than that. Can't get any happier than major. Can't get any sadder than minor. Those are the extremes. Blues meets us somewhere in the middle, where I think a lot of us live. You know, we're doing okay. We're getting better. We're hopeful. That's what I am today. I'm hopeful, right? And it kind of speaks to us. And I bet you have had that feeling. I've had that feeling when I went into just starting to learn blues. I'm like, I'm probably not going to like this. It's probably going to be a downer. Blues. The name of it, the blues, right? It's probably a downer. Well, then you listen to it and you go, I'm feeling kind of happy. I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling something very different. I'm feeling kind of hopeful. Or I'm feeling like, this understands me a little bit more, right? It hits us where we live. So if you start to work on blues, you start to see the form of it. So the form of a 12-bar blues, it's 12 bars, but it's really 3 phrases. Right? The first 4 measures, the middle 4 measures, and then the last 4. The first 4 measures is just establishing. It's an introduction. It's usually just the 1 chord or 1 to a 4 to a 1, the quick 4. The second phrase, the chord, the harmony changes. The second 4 measures, the harmony changes, but the story says the same. So you have a line, usually the first line, it could be, I don't know, I'm a good man feeling bad. Then they repeat it again. But when they repeat it, the harmony's different underneath that. So you have the same thing, but something's changed a little bit. It's starting to move somewhere. And then the last 4 measures of the song, the third verse, if you will, or the third lick, or the third riff, or the third line that's said, changes, does something completely different. We go through the 5 chord, then the 4 chord, then the 1 chord, and then we say it's over and we're about to start over again. It's the resolution. It's got some tension and release in there. So we established something. We went on a journey with what we've established. And then the last section, we do something about it, or something happens to it there. It's the resolution to that. Blues in itself, in its structure, in its form, is a story. And that translates to different styles. You start to see in forms in jazz, you have just regular, just reading a head down, or in the head having an A format. All the different formats that are different from a blues, right? But you start to see the structure in that. Blues is the simplest structure. So it might introduce you to structures of songs. Sometimes you just listen to a song, you don't think about it, it just takes you on a ride. Well, it takes you on a ride for a reason, right? The reason is the composer or the person who's playing it has something in store for you. This is all thought out ahead of time, right? So, all right, but how about how blues unlocks improv skills? So as much structure as I just talked about, learning the blues also shows you how to create on the fly, how to express yourself, musicality, how to take how you feel and communicate that over top of a framework. The blues, 12-bar blues is the framework. What you do with it can be anything, and it can come right from how you feel. It's very interesting how that works. And I started off with rock music and then went into jazz. I went all the way around and then finally ended up on blues after I was through those things, right? So I was a rock player. I went into jazz and, formally for formal training. But then when it was time for me to go out and play, I played the blues. And guess what? I had all of those skills in there, and they didn't, from the other styles of music, I had all the skills that I had built. But when I started playing blues, they all made sense. I was just learning them from that point. But when I had something to focus all of those on, the 12-bar blues, and starting to use them in improv, it really did some great stuff. The 12-bar blues structure, this is your practicing ground. This is where you should learn to play lead guitar. It's going to teach you how to phrase, how to play like a conversation. I'm doing a blues mastery series, all the lesson videos over the past 2 months. And these are things that on purpose I'm repeating. Playing like a conversation, phrasing, communicating. These are words that I'm trying to get to you for a reason. Why? Because I help a lot of people who are stuck. And so chances are that you might have some of the same problems as some of the people that I help. I know those people. If you are one of them, I may not know you, right? But I know some people who may be a little bit like you, or maybe could help you, right? If they shared their experiences as well too. So the reason that this is a big deal is because a lot of people struggle with this. They play the notes, they learn the scales, they even learn chord targeting, but it doesn't come off in a way that communicates. Playing like a conversation, playing blues develops this. It develops your instinct on how to react in real time, how to communicate in real time, how to change, how to call an audible, change up what you're going to play. And we've all, even if you're not skilled at it, we've all done something where we played a note. Whoa, that sounded great. Do you remember that? Play it again. Oh, it didn't sound as good the second time. So understanding improv is very important. Taking just one pattern. I think that would be the biggest thing for someone who's struggling, is to be able to take the licks and start to change them. instead of improv and going, okay, go ahead and solo, and you're just aimlessly, okay, well, I know all these patterns and I know all these notes and I want to play all of them. I want to look like I know what I'm doing. And in that thinking right there, you've totally missed it, right? So it's really about narrowing down, playing a few notes that work, and then milking them. I'm playing 3 notes. This is a G, an A, and a C. So the key is A. So I've got the flat 7th, the minor 3rd, and the root. Some very strong notes. And I'm putting together in different orders. I'm doing different rhythms. I'm doing tension and release. I'm doing a lot of different things with these notes. Being able to take something like that, and I just came up with 6, 7 different ideas right there just from those 3 notes. Being able to narrow your focus, narrow the thought process, taking something that does work and developing it. That's where you could do a whole solo with 3 notes, and it might be stale at first and might be tough to come up with ideas, but as you let the backing track run, watch what happens. Try limiting yourself today. Segment 3 about the blues is why learning the blues opens up your guitar freedom, is that you can apply these concepts to any style of music. Learning blues helps you sound more expressive. In rock, what's the coolest things in rock for me? They're the bluesy things. Riff-based music, that's blues. That comes from even the blues scale a lot of times too. Jazz music can be, because the harmony changes all the time. If you've never played jazz, I can tell you the very first thing that you notice if it coming from a popular music, coming from rock music or country music or whatever. If you went into jazz, you said, okay, I'm going to learn some jazz today. The first thing you're going to realize is, I thought I was in this key, but now I'm in this key. It changes keys smoothly and sneakily throughout a chord progression, where in rock music, in country, you typically stay in one key for the whole thing. Before you know it, you're in something else. And that scale that you might have played over the first 4 chords, it now doesn't work over the next 4 chords. You've shifted into something. So it's very easy to get caught up into that. Going, okay, well, I'm in this scale now. Now I have to go to this scale. Now I have to go to this scale. You get so consumed with staying in the key that you forget to play with feeling. And the best jazz is played with feeling. It has both. It follows the harmony or plays with the harmony, but it also has feeling instead of two. And blues, and a jazz blues is a great way to do that. So a jazz blues adds in some extra chords to that. So you get on the 4 chord, there's actually a diminish that happens a half step above that before going back to the 1. Then you've got a minor 6 in there too, and then a 2, 5, 1. So add some different chord progressions to what you're playing there. It's very. I would say if I was in someone's shoes who's a rock player or a country player who wants to learn about jazz, I would try playing a jazz blues first and see if you can navigate those few chords that are thrown in there, and then jump into the like Autumn Leaves and those with kind of beginning jazz songs there too. So in the 3 segments today, segment 1, we're talking about phrasing and feel. Segment 2, we're talking about improv. And segment 3, playing with feeling. Those 3 things are very important for a guitar player. And I think the blues is the answer to where you should start. If you want to build confidence in your soloing, you can grab my free email course. It's Blues Solo Breakthrough. It's a great first step to getting into the blues. And even if you're an intermediate player, I get into those things that intermediate players want to know too. 6 steps to confident killer solos. Hit subscribe and let me know in the comments how learning the blues has changed your playing. I'm going to call it. That's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Play Guitar Podcast. If today's episode got you thinking, don't let it stop here. Hit subscribe. You'll never miss a lesson. And if you're finally ready to get structured step-by-step guitar progress and start the blues, you can join my free Blues Solo Breakthrough course and start playing confident killer blues solos today. And if you want to spend time with me Every week, get my personal feedback and be part of a real guitar playing community. Play Guitar Academy is where we make serious progress together. Join us at playguitaracademy.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody.